Hello, all you cultured bumpkins. Once again, another day, another wrestle with the light diffuser and such. One of these days I'll figure it out. Maybe. Man, this is truly just kicking my tail. All right. This is, anyway. The thing is, I'm not able to check it before I go. Like I can't do a preview. At least I don't know how to. Anyway, let's read some Mary Oliver to start things. I really like her. Here is Wild Geese. And if you have a request, feel free to put it in the chat. If not, I'll just read stuff I like. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Wild Geese, Mary Oliver. This one's called The Dipper. Once I saw, in a quick falling, white-veined stream among the leafed islands of the wet rocks, a small bird, and I knew it from the pages of a book. It was the Dipper, and dipping he was, as well as sometimes on a rock peak starting up the clear, strong pipe of his voice. At this, there being no words to transcribe, I had to bend forward, as it were, into his frame of mind, catching everything I could in the tone, cadence, sweetness, and briskness of his affirmative report. Though not by words, it was a more than satisfactory way to the bridge of understanding. This happened in Colorado more than a half-century ago. More certainly than half my lifetime ago, and just as certainly, he has been sleeping for decades in the leaves beside the stream, his crumble of white bones, his curl of flesh, comfortable even so. And still I hear him, and whenever I open the ponderous book of riddles, he sits with his black feet hooked to the page, his eyes cheerful, still burning with water love. And thus the world is full of leaves and feathers and comfort and instruction. I do not even remember your name, great river, but since that hour I have lived simply, in the joy of the body as full and clear as falling water, the pleasures of the mind like a dark bird dipping in and out, tasting and singing. And, that was The Dipper by Mary Oliver. If you have a request, I do take requests, and if not, I just keep on reading. All the day, the flicker has anticipated the lust of the season by shouting. He scouts up tree after tree, and at a certain place begins to cry out. Mai in his black freckled vest, bay body with red trim and sudden chrome underwings, he is dapper. Of course, somebody listening nearby hears him. She answers with a sound like hysterical laughter and rushes out into the field where he is poised on an old phone pole. His head swinging, his wings opening and shutting in a kind of butterfly stroke. She can't resist. They touch. They flutter. How lightly altogether they accept the great task of carrying life forward. In the crown of an oak, they chose a small tree cave, which they enter with sudden quietness and modesty, and for a while the wind that can be a knife or a hammer subsides. They listen to the thrushes. The sky is blue, where the rain falls with its spills of pearl around their wreath of darkness. The leaves of the world unfurl. Yes, and this one is the spring. So far we've read Wild Geese, The Dipper, and Spring, and it's from Owls and Other Fantasies, Poems and Essays by Mary Oliver. Okay, here's one called September. I walk through a grove of pines and startle the nighthawk from the limb where it has been lying, resting, or sleeping. The bird is similar in color to the gray limb and lies along, not across it, so it's almost invisible. On its hawk-like wings, it rises into the sky and vanishes. The nighthawk doesn't nest here, but only stops a few days on its long travels. I know this one must be tired of flight, and I'm sorry to have disturbed it. The next day, walking the same woods, I approach with care. The bird is again resting on the limb, its eyes shut. I back away and do not disturb it. The following year, almost to the day, I enter the pine woods and remember the nighthawk just in time to be cautious and silent. And the bird is there in the same tree, on the same limb, in the pine woods that is so pretty and so restful, apparently, to both of us. Backyard by Mary Oliver. I had no time to haul out all the dead stuff, so it hung limp or dry wherever the wind swung it, over or down or across. All summer it stayed that way, untrimmed and thickened. The paths grew damp and uncomfortable and mossy until nobody could get through but a mouse or a shadow. Blackberries, ferns, leaves, litter, totally without direction, management, supervision. The birds loved it. It's called Backyard. Long afternoon at the edge of Little Sister Pond. As for life, I'm humbled. I'm without words sufficient to say. How has it been hard as flint and soft as a spring pond, both of these and over, and long pale afternoons besides, and so many mysteries, beautiful as eggs in a nest, still unhatched, though warm and watched over by something I have never seen, a tree angel perhaps, or a ghost of holiness. Every day I walk out into the world to be dazzled, then to be reflective. It suffices. It is all comfort, along with human love, dog love, water love, little serpent love, sunburst love, or love for that smallest of birds flying among the scarlet flowers. There is hardly time to think about stopping, and lying down at last to the long afterlife, to the tenderness yet to come, when time will brim over the singular pond and become forever, as we will pretend to melt away into the leaves. As for death, I can't wait to be the hummingbird. Can you? All right, hummingbirds. The female and the two chicks, each no bigger than my thumb, scattered, shimmering in their pale green dresses. Then they rose, tiny fireworks, into the leaves and hovered. Then they sat down, each one with dainty charcoal feet, each one on a slender branch, and looked at me. I had meant no harm. I had simply climbed the tree for something to do on a summer day, not knowing they were there, ready to burst the ledges of their mossy nest and to fly for the first time in their sea green helmets with brisk metallic tails, each told wing with every dollop of flight drawing a perfect wheel across the air. Then, with a series of jerks, they paused in front of me and, dark-eyed, stared as though I were a flower. And then, like three tosses of silvery water, they were gone, alone in the crown of the tree. I went to China. I went to Prague. I died and was born in the spring. I found you and loved you again. Later, the darkness fell, and the solid moon, like a white pond, rose. But I wasn't in any hurry. Likely I visited all the shimmering, heart-stabbing questions without answers before I climbed down. Hummingbirds. So it was a good Mary Oliver little section there. Let's read a little Emily Dickinson. On this wondrous sea, sailing silently, ho, pilot, ho! Knowest thou the shore where no breakers roar, where the storm is o'er? In the peaceful west, many the sails at rest, the anchors fast. Thither pilot thee. Land, land ho, eternity, ashore at last. I have a bird in spring, which for myself doth sing. The spring decoys, and the summer nears, and as the rose appears, robin is gone. Yet do I not repine, knowing that bird of mine, though flown, learneth beyond the sea melody new for me, and will return. Fast in safer land, fast in safer hand, held in a truer land are mine. And though they now depart, tell I my doubting heart, they're thine. In a serener bright, in a more golden light, I see each little doubt and fear, each little discord here removed. Then will I not repine, knowing that bird of mine, though flown, shall in distant tree bright melody for me return. Excuse me. Oh, if remembering were forgetting, then I remember not. And if forgetting, recollecting, how near I had forgot. And if to miss were merry, and to mourn were gay, how very blithe the maiden who gathered these today. Nobody knows this little rose, it might a pilgrim be, did not I take it from the ways and lift it up to thee. Only a bee will miss it, only a butterfly hastening from far journey on its breast to lie. Only a bird will wonder, only a breeze will sigh. Ah, little rose, how easy for such as thee to die. If those I loved were lost, the crier's voice would tell me. If those I loved were found, the bells of Ghent would ring. Did those I loved repose, the daisy would impel me. Philip, when bewildered, bore his riddle in. Frequently the woods are pink, frequently are brown. Frequently the hills undress behind my native town. Oft a head is crested I was wont to see, and as oft a cranny where it used to be. And the earth, they tell me, on its axis turned, wonderful rotation, by but 12 performed. We lose because we win, gamblers, recollecting which toss their dice again. And bees as bustling go. Oh, sorry, I started in the middle of that one. If I should die, and you should live, and time should gurgle on, and morn should beam, and noon should burn, as it has usual done, if birds should build as early, and bees as bustling go, one might depart at option from enterprise below. 'Tis sweet to know what stocks will stand when we with daisies lie, that commence that commerce will continue, and trades as briskly fly. It makes the parting tranquil, and keeps the soul serene, that gentlemen so sprightly conduct the pleasing scene. I haven't told my garden yet, lest that should conquer me. I haven't quite the strength now to break it to the bee. I will not name it in the street, for shops would stare at me. That one so shy, so ignorant, should have the face to die. The hillsides must not know it, where I have rambled so, nor tell the loving forests the day that I shall go, nor lisp it at the table, nor heedless by the way, hint that within the riddle one will walk today. I often passed the village when going home from school, and wondered what they did there, and why it was so still. I did not know the year then in which my call would come, earlier by the dial than the rest have gone. It's stiller than the sundown, it's cooler than the dawn. The daisies dare to come here, and birds can flutter down. So when you are tired, or perplexed, or cold, trust the loving promise underneath the mold. Cry, "It's I, take Dolly, and I will enfold." I counted till they danced so their slippers leaped the town, and then I took a pencil to note the rebels down. And then they grew so jolly I did resign the prig, and 10 of my once stately toes are marshalled for a jig. It did not surprise me, so I said or thought, she will stir her pinions, and the nest forgot. Traverse broader forest, build in gayer boughs, breathe in ear more modern God's old-fashioned vows. This was but a birdling. What and if it be one within my bosom had departed me? This was but a story. What and if indeed there were just such coffin in the heart instead? To venerate the simple days which lead the seasons by needs but to remember that from you or I they may take the trifle termed mortality. There's something quieter than sleep within this inner room. It wears a sprig upon its breast and will not tell its name. Some touch it and some kiss it, some chafe its idle hand. It has a simple gravity I do not understand. I would not weep if I were they. How rude and one to sob might scare the quiet fairy back to her native wood. While simple-hearted neighbors chat of the early dead, we prone to periphrasis remark the birds have fled. So bashful when I spied her, so pretty, so ashamed, so hidden in her leaflets, lest anybody find, so breathless till I passed her, so helpless when I turned and bore her struggling, blushing, her simple haunts beyond. For whom I robbed the dingle, for whom betrayed the dell, many will doubtless ask me, but I shall never tell. The rainbow never tells me that gust and storm are by, yet she is more convincing than philosophy. My flowers turn from forms, yet eloquent declare what Cato couldn't prove me, except the birds were here. Success is counted sweetest by those who ne'er succeed. To comprehend a nectar requires sorest need. Not one of all the purple host who took the flag today can tell the definition so clear of victory. and he defeated, dying, on whose forbidden ear the distant strains of triumph break, agonized and clear. Where I have lost, I softer tread. I sow sweet flower from garden bed. I pause above that vanished head and mourn. Whom I have lost, I pious guard from accent harsh or ruthless word, feeling as if their pillow heard through stone. When I have lost, you'll know by this, a bonnet black, a dusk surplice, a little tremor in my voice, like this. Why I have lost the people know who, dressed in flocks of purest snow, went home a century ago. Next bliss. My river runs to thee. Blue sea, wilt welcome me? My river waits reply. O sea, look graciously. I'll fetch thee brooks from spotted nooks. Say, sea, to take me. I had no time to hate, because the grave would hinder me, and life was not so ample I couldn't finish enmity. Nor had I time to love, but since some industry must be, the little toil of love, I thought, be large enough for me. Let's see, William Wordsworth. Doing some nature poems and such tonight. One of my favorite William Wordsworth is I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It's probably, I don't know, probably his most well-known, one of his most well-known anyway. I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er veiled hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. William Wordsworth. Here's another William Wordsworth one called It is a Beauteous Evening, Calm and Free. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. The holy time is quiet as a nun, breathless with adoration. The broad sun is sinking down in its tranquility. The gentleness of heaven broods o'er the sea. Listen, the mighty being is awake, and doth with his eternal motion make a sound like thunder, everlastingly. Dear child, dear girl that walkest with me here, If thou appear untouched by solemn thought, thy nature is not therefore less divine. Thou liest in Abraham's bosom all the year, and worshipest at the temple's inner shrine, God being with thee, when we know, when we know it not. William Wordsworth. It is a beauteous evening, calm and free. Here's one called Most Sweet It Is, also by William Wordsworth. Most sweet it is with unuplifted eyes to pace the ground, if path be there or none, while a fair region round the traveller lies, which he forbears again to look upon, pleased rather with some soft ideal scene, the work of fancy, or some happy tone of meditation, slipping in between the beauty coming and the beauty gone. If thought and love desert us, from that day let us break off all commerce with the muse. With thought and love, companions of our way, whate'er the senses take or may refuse, the mind's internal heaven shall shed her dews of of inspiration on the humblest lay. Surprised by Joy by William Wordsworth. Surprised by joy, impatient as the wind, I turn to share the transport. Oh, with it thee, long buried in the silent tomb, that spot which no vicissitude can find. Love, faithful love, recalled thee to my mind. But how could I forget thee? Through what power, even for the least division of an hour, have I been so beguiled as to be blind to my most grievous loss? That thought's return was the worst pang that sorrow ever bore, save one only, when I stood forlorn, knowing my heart's best treasure was no more, that neither present time nor years unborn could to my sight that heavenly face restore. To the Skylark by William Wordsworth. Ethereal minstrel, pilgrim of the sky, dost thou despise the earth where cares abound? Or while the wings aspire, are heart and eye both with thy nest upon the dewy ground? Thy nest which thou canst drop into at will, whose those quivering wings composed, that music still. Leave to the nightingale her shady wood, a privacy of glorious light is thine, whence thou dost pour upon the world a flood of harmony, with instinct more divine, type of the wise who soar but never roam, true to the kindred points of heaven and home. That one's too long. To the Cuckoo by William Wordsworth. O blithe newcomer, I have heard, I hear thee and rejoice. O cuckoo, shall I call thee bird or but a wandering voice? While I am lying on the grass, thy twofold shout I hear. From hill to hill it seems to pass, at once far off and near. Though babbling only to the vale of sunshine and of flowers, thou bringest unto me a tale of visionary hours. thrice welcome, darling of the spring. Even yet thou art to me no bird, but an invisible thing, a voice, a mystery, the same whom in my schoolboy days I listened to, that cry which made me look 1,000 ways in bush and tree and sky. To seek thee did I often rove through woods and on the green, and thou wert still a hope, a love still longed for, never seen. And I can listen to thee yet, can lie upon the plain and listen till I do beget that golden time again. O blessed bird, the earth we pace again appears to be an unsubstantial fairy place that is fit home for thee. I like that one. To the Cuckoo. William Wordsworth. I used to be a little bird watcher when I was a kid. I should do it more. But that reminds me of being out on my back, like my little back, like pasture, looking for birds. I liked the eastern meadowlark. That was a fun one. I liked the red-winged blackbird. There was several who I really liked the songs, and then there were some that I really liked the plumage. And yeah, the red-winged blackbird was one of my favorites to look at and to hear. It has a very distinct sound. Anyway, I really like that. So tonight we read a lot of nature stuff from Mary Oliver, Emily Dickinson, and William Wordsworth. And whether you're here now or catching the replay later, thank you very much for listening, spending some time here with some great poetry. And I hope that if you haven't subscribed, you will. And hopefully we'll talk to you later. Have a great night or whenever it is whatever it is, wherever you are, that you are right now.